Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Janine Rogan, and I'm a Canadian personal finance expert, the author of the best-selling book, The Pink Tax, and the founder of the Wealth Building Academy, where I teach women how to build their wealth so that they can achieve financial independence and we can close the wealth gap. This week, I wanted to dive into some maybe unsettling statistics. Now, I love personal finance, but I'm also very interested in wealth inequality, especially in Canada. So one of the things I wanted to look at is whether or not you're considered rich in Canada. So Statistics Canada has published information outlining where each of the different quintile in Canada fall. So how Statistics Canada decided to look at this was by determining what Canadians' net worth was overall and how to break that up into 5 different quintile. Now, your net worth is calculated as your assets, so what you own, and then you're going to subtract your liabilities, and that's what you owe. And that overall number is going to be your household net worth. So things like the value of your house, the value of your cars, your investments, any savings you have, those are all going to be your assets. Your liabilities are going to be what you owe. So the mortgage that's outstanding on your house, any student loans you have, credit cards that you don't pay off on a monthly basis, lines of credit, all of those things are going to be considered liabilities. You're going to subtract those from your assets, and that is going to give you your net worth number. Now again, Statistics Canada has broken this up into 5 different quintile, and the lowest 20% of Canadians have a net worth of about $12,800. So if you fall into that category, then you're going to be in the lowest quintile of Canadians by net worth. But especially if you're young in your career, I don't want you to stress too much about this. You have a lot of time to make up for your lower net worth. Now, jumping into the second bracket, which is 20% to 40% of Canadians, the average net worth of that group is about $174,000. Now that is a huge jump between our lowest quintile and our second lowest quintile. And we're not even in the middle quintile yet. So I think that this speaks to the increasing wealth inequality that we're seeing in Canada. The rich continue to get richer, and life has become really, really expensive for those of us that are in the lower 2 quintile. Now the next quintile, which is that 40 to 60%, so right smack dab in the middle, that group of Canadians has an average net worth of $520,000. Now, what I want you to remember about this, though, is a lot of Canadians have their net worth tied up in their primary residence. Houses in Canada are extremely expensive. It was only a couple of years ago where we saw the average home price in Canada hitting over $700,000. So if you haven't bought a home or you're still renting and you don't have that level of equity, don't worry, don't stress. You do not have to buy a home to be successful. You can absolutely build your investment portfolio instead. Now we're moving into the top 2 quintiles. So the richest 40% of Canadians and the 60 to 80% quintile has an average net worth of $1 million. Now that feels like a lot of money. And for many Canadians, it absolutely is. A lot of us will never hit a net worth of $1 million. But I also want you to remember that if you don't track your net worth and you don't start working on your financial education and moving yourself forward financially, you're never going to achieve that net worth unless you receive some sort of an inheritance. So investing is the single best way that you can increase your net worth and build an investment portfolio that will sustain you into your retirement years. Now, the top 20% of Canadians, I think this is the number I was most curious about. How do I get into the top 20%? The average net worth for this group of people is $2.48 million. That is an amount of money that a lot of us could never even fathom. But when you're looking at your long-term wealth, if you start to build an investment portfolio, you will be surprised by how quickly you're able to grow that wealth and how much of your net worth actually ends up being returns on your investments and not just that principal. And that's why I'm so passionate about building investment portfolios, and I encourage Canadians to not tie up their entire net worth in real estate, because the average return of real estate is about 2 to 3% per year, whereas the stock market returns 8 to 10% every single year. And lastly, I wanted to look at what the top 1% in Canada has as their net worth, and this number might actually surprise you. Honestly, for me, I felt it was a little bit low. The number for the top 1% is sitting at about $6.3 million in net worth. And when you think that the billionaires of Canada are in this category, that number does feel a little bit low. And when I say low, I do mean it in comparison to those billionaires that are probably in the top 0.0001%, because that is still a lot of money. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the different quintiles of wealth in Canada. For me, it was really eye-opening to see where I fall. I am right smack dab in the middle with that 40 to 60% quintile. That is where our net worth is sitting right now, in hopes to continue to grow it so that I can leave generational wealth for my son and my family, and also taking that wealth and doing good with it, learning to invest in smaller businesses that are women-owned and women-led, as well as hopefully one day setting up a scholarship with my alma mater, the University of Alberta. When you start to build your net worth and you start to grow it, what is so important to remember is that that money is going to give you freedom, and it gives you choice. The freedom to leave bad relationships, the freedom to leave toxic workplaces, the freedom to go on sabbatical for a year and travel the world. These are the things that wealth allows you to do, and this is why, again, I'm so passionate to teach women how to do this for themselves. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.